Come now, Netflix. You and I both know there was nothing cuties about that film. Hey everyone, except Netflix. Welcome to Natalie as I am. Very quickly, I want to give a shout out to my girl Nonti. She's the beauty and the brains behind the branding for this channel. And I've just absolutely got to give her a shout out. She's a graphic design student. Make use of her services. The girl is talented, she's young, she's vibrant, and she's quite creative. And I just had a blast working with her. So I love you, Nonti, and I always will. So if you want to find out why Netflix's new name is Pedoflix, I suggest you keep watching. Just some quick housekeeping out of the way, guys. I'm Natalie as I am on all my social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, whichever grams, whatever, that's where I am. You can find me. I'm a like of things, hey, on Twitter. Although I refrained from commenting too much, Mara. I see what's happening out in these Twitter streets. These streets are just reeling, man, and people are calling for Netflix to be cancelled. I never thought I'd see the day. That is so wild to me. Just 2020 still not ending. Remember what I said about this year? Not ending. Still not ending. Basically, you have got the movie Cuties that has come under fire and has caused public outrage due to the content of this movie. So basically, just a quick this is kind of the premise of the movie. You've got an 11-year-old girl from a conservative Muslim family, and she kind of breaks away from that tradition, and she kind of finds herself in a dance crew, boy, let me tell you, with fellow 11-year-old girls. And I saw just a snippet because I was on Twitter minding my business. That's what I do. I mind my business on Twitter. Next thing you know, hashtag cancel Netflix is trending. I'm like, what? What is going on? And I find out that this movie Cuties is having everyone in their feelings. And of course, I'm going to check what's happening. And I see a snippet from the movie, and I see a bunch of young girls dancing provocatively, wearing skimpy clothing, so inappropriate, so cringe-worthy, so gut-wrenching. And I got to understand slightly here and there what it's about. I haven't watched the movie though. There's some people, can I even say there's mixed reviews, because many people are frustrated. There's like a few who are actually in defense of this movie, not to, obviously Netflix is in defense of this movie. Really Netflix, come now guys, it's crazy. I can't believe what we're doing now. I'm left in shock every single time I press the record button. It doesn't have to be this way. Save me. So you have people outraged about the fact that, number one, young girls are being sexualized in this video. That's what people are saying. It's inappropriate. How dare you? Secondly, it's a group of 11-year-old girls, and the movie is rated like 18 in the US anyway. So people are like, that doesn't even make no damn sense. And some are arguing, well, you need to watch the whole movie for context. The movie is saying we shouldn't sexualize young girls in society. And some people are like, oh, sure. So the best way not to sexualize young girls, or to teach society not to sexualize young girls, is by you sexualizing them yourself. Really? Come now, people are exceptionally outraged. This is not even funny. This is the craziest thing. I know, like, we're running out of content, but this is extreme. Where you're gonna let like kids just be doing the moves that these kids are doing. I don't want to watch the entire movie. I was kind of disgusted already by what I saw. And some people were saying, well, you can't watch it in isolation. And I'm just like, well, I was gut-wrenched in isolation, so I'm fine. I don't want to have to watch it in its entirety. And just by looking at this tweet, for example, this one person says, "Dear Netflix, you don't have to show girls being sexualized to fight girls being sexualized. This long-time customer or this long-time customer, is done. She is just one and done with Netflix. And you had another user who says, I will refuse to support anyone that supports pedophilia. Cuties is clearly for pedophiles. Hashtag cancel Netflix. Ouch. That just stings. And then there's another one there that says, the exploitation of these children on camera has been honored by the Sundance Film Festival. One of the founders of this festival is currently in prison for child sexual abuse. Let that sink in. This has gained traction politically as well. I mean, you have US Congressman Mr. Jim Banks jumping on this, and he released a video on Twitter, and he's calling for legal action against Netflix. And this is what he had to say. Just take a look at this.
We're past the point where we need investigations. That's why Senator Tom Cotton and I have called on the Department of Justice to call this what it is. It's trafficking child pornography on Netflix, and Netflix should be penalized. They should be gone after by the DOJ, and with charges brought against them for distributing child pornography. Call it what it is. That's what it is. It's despicable. We've gone from our culture being sexualized to sexualizing children. That's what's disgusting about this, and that's why so many Americans are outraged by this movie being so readily available to our kids.
So my stance on this is, it's just an absolute no. It's sickening, and I can't imagine that you have that pedophile aunt or uncle watching this, and for them they're not caring about the message that we should not sexualize girls. You're like, oh, so we're streaming this on Netflix now? Ding! You know, that's what he or she's thinking. And Netflix defense was rather laughable. Netflix defense was super, super laughable. So Netflix defends Cuties, and they say as social commentary against sexualization of young children. Netflix, at some point, you've got to accept your defeat. That's what I say. When you've got nowhere else to go, just accept your defeat and realize that you have been caught. And this is, it pains me to even speak about this. And I'm not a parent. That's a funny thing. So I can imagine someone who's a parent out there who has to watch this. Do you know what I'm saying? But on the one hand, I was saying, I think it was over the weekend, I said, I was like, maybe it's a good thing we're speaking about this. Then I'm like, nah. There's no, I can't even defend it and say at least we're speaking about this whose lives had to be impacted. That was my point. So you want to bring about a strong message of a coming of age movie or narrative, and how girls view or how they think they can get ahead in society. That's also what this movie is about. And for them, it's about being sexualized, you know, which is really sad and which is a reality. And I think this movie is also got to make us realize what's happening in real life, not just on Netflix. And that goes for if you've got a young child, you've got a niece, you've got a young cousin. They're watching music videos. They've got phones. They've got access to the internet 24/7. And they're watching music videos that are inappropriate or inappropriate content. And this is what they're seeing, and this is kind of what they're imitating. And Netflix is actually just kind of like, shucks, making us even more vigilant that this is what is going on. Netflix is the least of our problems. It's one of our problems, sure, with this movie. And this movie is our problem, not just Netflix streaming it, but the creators of this movie are the problem for us. But there's a bigger problem out there, and it's got to do with media. It's got to do with the concept of everything being sexualized the moment you turn that TV on, which is just such a problem. Where do we go from here? How do you monitor your kids on their cell phones, watching television? Do you just not let them have television? Gosh, what do you do? I can imagine. I'm not a parent, but this just makes me so fearful. And I just feel like by Netflix streaming this, like, are you in support of kids being sexualized? You know, are you kind of in support of kids being in vulnerable situations? What about the parents who signed off for their kids to be allowed as characters in this movie, as provocative characters in this movie. Something is not okay there. Something is really, really questionable, and this is just the icing on the cake. Someone else I know on Twitter was like, guys, you're freaking out for Cuties. Not that you shouldn't be, but you're freaking out for Cuties. What about other shows such as Big Mouth? What about Princesses and Tiara? You know, it's been coming on. There's so many things that we're blind to, we're not seeing, and it's really becoming a dark, dark world that I'm just battling to see the light. But you know what? I know you're not battling to see that like button, so please do share your comments, like, share, as I've said, and yeah, let's kind of keep the conversation going, and I will keep up with you guys the next time I continue being Natalie as I am.